Hey guys, it's Cassie, aka the Peculiar Poet, and welcome to Free Post Friday Body Positivity. Now, I understand that this is an extremely sensitive subject, so I want to make sure I choose my words very carefully so my message comes across clear and concise. Within the last few years in America, the body positivity movement has been sweeping the nation. It's become so popular and for good reason. It sends messages and spreads messages of self love, loving the skin you're in, that there's beauty in every shape, size, weight, skin color, which is amazing and all true. And I, again, 100% am behind this and believe in this. However, there's been another message that's been, spread and intertwined with it that I don't necessarily agree with. Let me give an example of what I mean by that. Growing up when I was younger, I was born in the 90s, and growing up, I was obsessed with fashion and fashion models, but there came a point when fashion models became dangerously thin, and the designers would no longer hire these models. You see, they didn't want to promote unhealthy lifestyles like anorexia or starvation or over dieting or over exercising as something that young people should aspire towards, because the reality is fashion is mostly targeted at young, still impressionable minds, and they didn't want to send that as something they should aspire towards or something that was healthy. Now, a few days ago, I was reading an article, and there was a picture of a woman who, on the opposite end of the scale, was obese. And in the article, it was talking about, again, self love, self acceptance, love the skin you're in, beauty in every size. And I was all about it 100%, until it got to a point where it said, you can be healthy at any weight. I'm sorry, but the reality is that it's simply not true. Just like in the 90s when these fashion designers chose to no longer showcase these models, it wasn't because they weren't beautiful, that it wasn't saying that, hey, if you're one of these models, don't love yourself. Because honestly, that probably was a big issue, but no, they should still love who they are and love themselves. But that doesn't mean the lifestyle and the way that they're living is healthy. Body positivity and self-love is not synonymous to being healthy. And in the article, like I said, I was reading, saying that you can be healthy at any size simply isn't true on either end of the scale. Whether it's being overweight or underweight, both can have serious consequences and cause serious detriment to your health. Now, I understand that when it comes to weight, it's not always a lifestyle choice. It's not always voluntary. There are many diseases and other factors that come into play that can affect your weight. For example, on the lower end of the scale, I personally suffer from a very mild form of something called gastroparesis, which makes it extremely difficult to gain weight. There are other people who suffer a lot more severe than I do, and it's almost damn near impossible for them to gain weight, which makes their frames a lot more thin and frail, and it's really unfortunate. But should they not find themselves beautiful or love who they are because of it? Of course not. Of course they should love who they are. And again, on the higher end of the scale, there's something called hypothyroidism, which makes it extremely difficult to lose weight, but extremely easy to gain weight. If they're bigger, should they not love who they are? Should they not find themselves beautiful? Of course not. Again, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the promotion of certain choices, certain weights as something that's healthy. You can promote body positivity and self-love while still addressing the fact that being too overweight or too underweight is simply not healthy. And as I said before, oftentimes these articles are targeted at adolescents, at people whose minds are still very impressionable, still developing, and we don't want them to aspire towards that, aspire towards, being unhealthy, having a shorter life expectancy. No, we simply want them to love themselves regardless of what they look like. But they should still be aware and knowledgeable of the facts. Now, if you're someone who chooses a lifestyle that causes you to be, extremely underweight or unhealthily underweight, or extremely obese, unhealthily obese, that's your choice. That's your prerogative. We all have one life, and we should live it however we want, regardless of what anyone says. Live in a way that makes you happy. Live however makes you happy. But again, if you are living one of those lifestyles, you're not gonna, preach or promote to certain people that they should also aspire towards that lifestyle, because you understand the risks involved. You understand that regardless of the fact that you love yourself and that you are beautiful and find yourself beautiful, because again, there's beauty in every size, that doesn't mean that a certain weight, can't become unhealthy. Now, that weight is unique to the individual. For some people, 100 pounds can be extremely underweight. For others, it's perfect. So it's not, there's no, set weight that you should strive towards. There's no certain size that's prettier than another. No, it's not about that. It's just about the fact that, again, body positivity and self love are not synonymous to being healthy. I just want to make sure I get the message across clear that I 100% support body positivity. This is not about being obese or being skinny. It's not about that. It's simply about the fact that we need to stay real. We need to keep facts facts and opinions opinions. Because just because you love yourself doesn't change what's happening in your body. Because on both ends of the scale, both sides of the spectrum can cause a lot of stress and pressure on your heart, and again, shorten life expectancy. Again, if that's how you want to live your life and you're happy that way, that is amazing. You should live it and you should love yourself. But let's not forget to also, within these messages, make it clear that some of these lifestyles and some of these weights do have consequences. So again, just the most important message is love yourself, love the skin you're in, but also be conscious and aware and remain factual. I hope I'm getting my message across clearly. It's kind of candid, but yeah. That's all I have to say. Happy Friday.